As the King's coronation takes place, we look at one members of the Commonwealth who are looking to pull away completely from the United Kingdom. Jamaica, an exclusive from Sky News. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here, and we're looking at an exclusive from Sky News, and it's Jamaica's King coronation accelerates plans for Jamaican Republic with a referendum as early as 2024. In a world exclusive, a senior Jamaican official told Sky News that the monarchy and racist British government policies are driving the push towards republicanism. So, God save the King. The four words unlikely to be on the lips of many Jamaicans during the weekend of the coronation of the King. Happy and glorious, also a long stretch. In a world exclusive, a senior Jamaican government minister has told Sky News that the coronation has accelerated the country's plans to become a republic as soon as next year. Sky News can reveal that an urgent referendum could be held as early as 2024, which means Jamaica could become independent from the British monarchy and have its own president by next year. According to Marlene Malahoo Forte, Jamaica's Minister for Legal and Constitutional Affairs. Yep, so essentially Jamaica has always been part of the Commonwealth, and this is not going to be the last of nations who are under it to be breaking away, simply because of the death of the Queen, because the Queen was pretty much the one that kept them all together, and since her passing, obviously, there has been serious questions about the royals, the Commonwealth, and the traditions of it, and rightly so. We do need to have these questions and these debates about them. And Jamaica has always I've always seen itself as wanting to pull away and make its own destiny and not be tied to the past of under the British Empire. While the United Kingdom is celebrating the coronation of the King, that is for the United Kingdom, she says. Jamaica is looking to write a new constitution which will sever ties with the monarch as our head of state. She added that the time has come, Jamaica in Jamaican hands. We have to get it done, especially with the transition in the monarchy. My government is saying we have to do it now. It's time to say goodbye. Ms. Malahoo Forte has described her timeline as ambitious, as it requires public consultations and a bill being brought to Parliament, which she hopes to introduce this month after the coronation. Passing the bill could take up to 9 months, which will subsequently need to be passed by the people in a referendum, effectively a general election. Yeah, so basically it needs to be put to the people of Jamaica on whether or not they want this or not, which I think is the right decision. To let the people decide on whether or not they should go their own way. I think that's the right decision. So why now? Well, the former Attorney General says a lot of Jamaicans had warm affiliations and identity with Queen Elizabeth II. When Jamaica became independent, Queen Elizabeth was already on the throne. But they do not identify with King Charles. He is as foreign as he gets to us, plain and simple. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the passing of the Queen is pretty much where, and people outside, yes, they know of King Charles, but he's not the one who's been there for a long time. So there is that factor to it. Mrs. Marlene Forte told Sky News that her government's desire for Jamaican self-determination has in part been influenced by the royal family's own set of issues internally. Issues, she said, which has been playing out of the news. Jamaicans are saying at this time it's time for Jamaica to sort itself out, and doing so means we want another form of government. An apology, or lack thereof, for slave trade. Jamaica has a complex relationship with the United Kingdom, Ms. Ford said. Republicanism is about saying goodbye to a form of government that is linked to a painful past of colonialism and transatlantic slave trade. Yes, it's a very dark history there, of course, when it comes to slavery between Jamaica and Britain. And you can't really let, sometimes history it's important to remember this history, even if it's bad history, to remember that. And Jamaica wants to sever that connection, and rightly so, and forge its own destiny. Pretty much, they don't want this lingering link still on them. I believe it was a very dark time. The slave trade, of course, for not just for Jamaicans, but for lots of nations under the rule of the British Empire back then. According to the National Library of Jamaica, during the transatlantic slave trade, around 600,000 captives of Africans were forcibly sent to Jamaica, making Britain one of the largest slave traders in the Atlantic in the 18th century. 600,000, good God. This historic event is still a major issue in the present. Last year, during the Prince and Princesses of Wales controversial tour to the Caribbean, Prince William acknowledged the issue but fell short of an apology. Is it really that hard to say the word sorry sometimes? Yes, you weren't physically responsible, but you represent the monarch and those who were responsible. In his speech, he lambasted that slavery was abhorrent and that it should never have happened. However, for the descendants of those once enslaved, his words were simply not good enough. A step in the right direction, but not far enough at all, Miss Malahoo Forte told Sky News. If you acknowledge that it is wrong, I wonder, why not a full apology? Is it because you have taken back the wealth of the monarchy, taken from the people, taken from the places that were colonised, taken from places where people were enslaved? Yeah, remember, they have a lot of jewellery, lots of treasure, lots of things that they have taken from other nations. It's important to remember that essentially do not belong to them. It's important to stress that. The question of reparations, the minister's nod to reparations did not stop there. If there's any sincerity in acknowledgement, it has to go further. Mrs. Malahoo Forte told Sky News, nothing short of a full apology plus concrete steps to repair the wrong will suffice. They are what the people of Jamaica want, and it is something that the government will do. She added, I think it is something the monarchs should think long and hard as they themselves are grappling with the relevance today. I've looked at the polls. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson said the King takes issue of slavery profoundly seriously, and the matter of republicanism is purely a matter for each member council to decide. Yeah. HMRC Empire Wishross arriving in 1948, carrying people from the West Indies to settle in the UK to fill the post-war job vacancies as well. And of course there is obviously the Windrush scandal, of course, that we should touch on a little bit as well. However, it's not just the royal swaying public opinion, political decisions, and 4,500 miles away in Britain, it's also responsible for Jamaica's acceleration towards a republic. Jamaicans living in the United Kingdom have experienced the worst of policies that can be regarded as racist. Windrush was personal for our people, personal many with our families, our friends, our people. Unfortunately, the UK government got it so wrong. For people who went up there to build up the wealth, the policy are racist and unjust by virtue of nationality, ethnic background, and the colour of your skin. It is just not right. The government spokesperson told Sky News that the UK is committed to its relationship with Jamaica regardless of its constitutional status, and that it remains determined to right the wrongs of Windrush and to make sure that such injustice is never repeated. Yeah, guys, this is probably worth having a full read for yourself. But Jamaica are looking to forge their own destiny, and I think it's right in doing so. There's a dark history, and there is still history for all the wrong reasons happening. You know, Britain is not in a great place right now. We all know that. And unfortunately, there are institutional racism in certain parts of the United Kingdom. We know there is racism everywhere. We cannot completely stamp it out, but there's nowhere near being enough being done in our country to reduce the levels. That is for certain. And given the history between the two nations, it's right that the people of Jamaica have a referendum on the matter. I think that is absolutely something they should be entitled to, and the people should be able to decide whether or not they want to forge their own destiny and no longer be tied to the British monarchy. Does anybody else disagree with me? I don't think anybody will, but if you do, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts, guys. What did you think of the article? Let me know. I'll put a link obviously in the description if you guys want to have a read of it yourself. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like, share and subscribe, and whoever you are, whatever you do, have a great day.